Hello, welcome to McDowell's Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series, we play through each of the battles in the American Grand Campaign in Close Combat 4, the Battle of the Bulge. We use historical World War II US Army doctrine to plan and conduct each battle. We start on the strategic map. It is 0800 hours on December 19, 1944, and the weather is overcast. Field artillery and combat aviation have been assigned, and there are no supply drops. The last battle was at Losheim between the US 112th Regimental Combat Team of 28th Division and the German Kampfgruppe Stefan from the 2nd Panzer Division. The result was a decisive American victory. The next battle is at Clerf between the US 7th Armored Division and the German Kampfgruppe Waldenburg of the 116th Panzer Division. Clerf must be held as long as possible to delay the German advance. Defend the Chateau to the last man, like the defenders of the Alamo, so that reserves can be brought forward. The churches in the area provide excellent observation posts to stall the Germans. The road leading to Noville is of secondary importance, but should be held so that no German troops may pass. If this town can be held, the road to Dasburg is also the road that leads to the Reich. On the US side is an American armoured battle group from 7th Armoured Division under command of Brigadier General Clark. It moves fast and reserves are full. The Combined Arms Company consists of 3 platoons. First platoon is a tank platoon, mostly equipped with M4 Sherman medium tanks with 75mm main guns. Second platoon is an infantry platoon. And third platoon is a support platoon with 3 tanks and 2 half-tracks. Let's rename the new squads off camera. Now, let's review each of the squads. 3-1 is 3rd Platoon Headquarters with a Command Sherman. 2-1 is 2nd Platoon Headquarters. 2-2 is a Rifle Squad. 2-3 is a Rifle Squad. 1-4 is an M4 Sherman medium tank with a 75mm gun. 3-2 is an M3 Stuart light tank with a 37mm gun. 1-5 is an M7 Priest 105mm self-propelled artillery gun. 3-5 is an M21 81mm mortar motor carriage. 3-4 is an M5 heavy machine gun half-track. 2-5 is a Browning 30 caliber medium machine gun. 2-4 is an M9 bazooka team. 1-1 is 1st Platoon Headquarters with a Command Sherman. 1-2 is an M4 Sherman medium tank. 1-3 is an M4 Sherman medium tank. 3-3 is an M3 Stuart light tank. Next, let's look at the map and conduct a commander's estimate of the situation. Our mission is to defend Clerf. Clerf, now known as Clairvaux, is a small town in northern Luxembourg on the River Clerve. On a hill around which the river curves is the Chateau de Clairvaux, a 12th century castle. North of the chateau, across the river, is a church with 2 tall steeples that overlook the area. Adjacent to the church is a railroad line from Massen in the north, which crosses the river and runs through a tunnel under the hill on its way south to Drafeld. The Route de Monache also runs from the north, past the road to Noville to the west, around the base of the chateau west of the river, and then off to the east towards Dasburg, and from there to the Reich. East of the town, the route is bisected by a road running north to the village of Royle and beyond that to the Schnee Eifel, with a church and single steeple at the crossroads. Between Clerf to the west and Royle to the east is a woodland park. This is what Clairvaux looks like today. Appropriately enough, the chateau now hosts a museum of the Battle of the Bulge. Observation is good along the roads and from the multi-storey buildings, being the church steeples and the chateau. However, sightlines are obstructed by the woodland park and by buildings. The park and the buildings also provide concealment. The thick stone walls of the chateau provide excellent cover to any defenders. The chateau and town and village buildings are obstacles to vehicle movement, channeling vehicles onto the roads. The surrounding woods and the river are passable, but likely to slow down vehicle movement. Avenues of approach into Clerf include along the road from the north, from the east along the Route de Monash, or from the south. The chateau is decisive terrain, which is what one would expect of a castle. It is an excellent defensive position due to its central location, sturdy construction, and observation over the surrounding roads. The crossroad on the Route de Monash is key terrain, as it is a choke point that controls access to Clerf and the chateau. We know from the previous battle that Kampfgruppe Waldenburg is a Panzer company with a Befehlspanzer V heavy tank, 3 Panzer IV medium tanks, some armoured vehicles, and supporting infantry. In the last battle, the Kampfgruppe was forced to disband, leaving the Americans in possession of Clerf. Now, the Kampfgruppe is back and ready for another fight. The German Kampfgruppe is advancing on Clerf from the east. They are likely to seize the crossroads and approach along the Route de Monash to the south of Clerf. The advantage of this approach route is that the castle provides terrain shielding from any forces to the north, rendering them irrelevant to the battle. And armour along the route can mass fire onto the chateau. Their forming up point is likely to be at the crossroads along the Route de Monash. Alternatively, the Germans could avoid the southern route in favour of a frontal assault through the woods and across the river. The advantage of this approach is that the panzers would not expose their flanks to fire from the chateau. If the panzers crest around the same time, they can mass fire on the chateau and along the river before the infantry advance. Their forming up point is likely to be along the north-south road in Reule. In both cases, from experience in previous battles, it is likely the Germans will advance tanks and infantry together, with the tanks using firepower to suppress defenders and the infantry closing to occupy the chateau. Either German approach exposes their panzers to attack from the flanks or rear while in the forming up point. The first course of action is to outflank the Germans from the north. The infantry of 2nd Platoon, supported by 3-1, will hold the chateau as the Alamo. They will fix the German attack on the river line or on the Route de Monash. The tanks of 1st Platoon will mass north of Reule and clear north to south, catching the Germans in the flank or rear, either in Reule or at the crossroads. The mortar and medium machine gun will be at the church, covering 2nd Platoon's left flank. The Stuart light tanks of 3rd Platoon will be to the south as a reserve. The second course of action is to outflank the Germans from the south. Once again, the infantry of 2nd Platoon, supported by 3-1, will hold the chateau as the Alamo. They will fix the German attack on the river line or on the Route de Monash. The tanks of 1st Platoon will occupy attack by fire positions focused on the crossroads. They will engage German panzers moving along the route one at a time, maximising American firepower. If the Germans mount a frontal attack, 1st Platoon will seize the crossroads and roll up their left flank from south to north. The mortar and medium machine gun will be at the church, covering 2nd Platoon's left flank. The Stuart light tanks of 3rd Platoon will be to the north as a reserve. I have made my decision and have placed the platoons and squads in position. The tanks of 1st Platoon in battle pairs in the north. The infantry from 2nd Platoon holding the Chateau. with the medium machine gun in an overwatch support by fire position in the church. And the tanks of 3rd Platoon as a reserve force in the woods to the south. And the half-tracks in the support by fire position. And so we begin. German Panzers in Reule. They are going for a frontal assault. Panzer IV destroyed by 1-4 Pittman's tank. No shot at the Panther. (1-1) and 1-2 advance. Kommandowagen Sonderkofferzeug 251 destroyed in the south by 3-2.
Team redeployed. In position.
Befehlspanzer hit. But 1-1 is immobilized.
Bailing out.
To the south, 3-2 is knocked out.
Bailing out. Team redeployed.
1-1 is knocked out. Befehlspanzer hit again and damaged. The other battle pair advances.
Move completed.
Fortner's mortar targets infantry in the open.
Team redeployed. In position.
The Shermans are attacking the German right rear. Another Panzer IV damaged and immobilized. 1-2 is immobilized. But destroys the Panzer IV.
Wir ergeben uns!
The second battle pair advance. The Germans are breaching the woods opposite the castle, moving up to the river. 2nd Platoon holds fire for now.
Team redeployed.
The German mortar half-track is hit and immobilized.
In position.
Auf uns wird geschossen!
And destroyed. Another Panzer IV destroyed by 2nd Platoon.
Kommt zurück!
Target eliminated.
Ammunition.
Close!
1-4 is destroyed by a Panzerfaust.
Köpfe runter.
2-4, 2nd Platoon's bazooka team, destroys the Befehlspanzer. German infantry are suddenly ambushed crossing the river and gunned down.
Pick up your weapon!
Panzer to the south.
In position.
1-3 is destroyed by a flamethrower half-track.
In position.
The Priest 105mm finally comes to battle. 3-3, the Stuart tank has encountered a final Panzer IV. Total American victory. The battle ended because the Germans' force morale got too low and they were forced to retreat off the map. The Americans gained control of the map and the German battle group was forced to disband. The Americans won the battle because they control a greater number of crucial victory locations than the Germans. The Americans lost 6 killed, 8 wounded, 4 tanks destroyed, and 1 damaged. The Germans lost 21 killed, 24 wounded, 1 prisoner, 4 tanks destroyed, and 2 armoured vehicles destroyed. Let's examine the American squads. Mathis in 1-1 lost his tank, with 1 dead and 2 seriously wounded. Seal in 1-2 is credited with a tank kill and awarded the Bronze Star. Picard is killed. Gould in 1-3 is killed, along with Kastner, with Eagleton and Strong seriously wounded. Hackett in 1-4 receives the Bronze Star in hospital. He is credited with a tank kill and shares credit with Gant for a half-track kill. The 105mm saw battle but did not get time to shine. Moon in 2nd Platoon Headquarters knocks out a tank and is awarded the Silver Star. Edmondson and Rantapar in the M9 Bazooka team share credit for a tank kill, and both are awarded the Combat Infantryman's Badge. Fortner and Hurst in 3-2 are seriously wounded. Lumley and Hurst share credit for a half-track kill. So far, the campaign remains a major American victory. The Grand Campaign has 13 days remaining. Your defence of the Ardennes is progressing better than your historical counterparts. This victory at Clerf has completely isolated a German pocket behind American lines. Over the course of the campaign, cumulative American losses are 210 killed in action, 211 wounded in action, 18 tanks, 2 vehicles, and 13 guns. Cumulative German losses are 516 killed, 447 wounded, 67 tanks, 63 armoured vehicles, and 1 anti-tank gun. So, what did we learn? This battle demonstrates that tanks and armoured vehicles are offensive and not static defensive assets. US doctrine states that the primary role of armoured forces on the defensive is the tactical offensive. Their usual employment will be in the counterattack. In this battle, the Sherman tanks counterattacked the German forces attacking Clerf. While the Americans took casualties, they inflicted sufficient casualties on the Germans to force defeat, and the German Kampfgruppe was defeated and disbanded. Use tanks in the tactical offensive, not in the defensive. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. And stay tuned for the next episode.